How you guys doing? Jimmy Williams again. I'm back with another informative live video. And it's Sunday. It's still a slow down day. You know, Saturdays are my days where I just relax and spend time with the wife. We don't really do nothing. But on Sundays, we're still taking a deep breath because we work so much Monday through Friday. And we're running literally, we have several businesses that we run, from real estate to marketing to coaching. My wife sells products online that she makes her own products and sells them on Walmart. She's a marketer. She's a designer. I mean, we got so much going on, so it's hard to balance our time. So we take the weekends off, or we slow down on the weekends, unless it's something an emergency where we have to work or something. Then we do that. But I'm on here Sunday evening, and I wanted to come on and talk to you a little bit about not quitting or giving up on the dreams that you believe that the Most High put in your heart to do. All right. I don't know who needs to hear it, but I felt the need to talk about it. All right. Excuse me. I've been eating something earlier, ate some popcorn. So sorry about that. So again, I'm Jimmy Williams. This is my channel. Okay. All things real estate with Jimmy Williams. I've been doing real estate since 2009. So I do real estate and I teach it. Okay. I do it by demonstration. I show you guys how it's done. And I teach people all over the world at any level of real estate, how to start a real estate business, how to be a wholesaler, how they can become a successful wholesaler, how they can learn how to fix and flip. I suppose when you buy a property, it's a fixer-upper. You put 100 grand into it, you fix it up, you buy it at a wholesale price, you turn around, you put it back on the market with an agent, and you turn around and you sell that property and make a profit of 30 to 50,000 or whatever you do, et cetera, et cetera. Like you see on the stuff you see on TV, same thing, but it's real and it's not as easy as the people on TV make it seem. But I teach all of it. I teach, multifamily property. That's hotels, motel complexes, apartment complexes, condos, casinos, downtown high rises that are filled with, people that are renting the office spaces and all that. Those are considered multifamily portfolios. I teach how to buy and sell those. I teach how to buy and hold them. I teach all of it. Airbnb, tax liens, pre foreclosures, et cetera, et cetera. Short sales. I teach all that stuff. So that's number one. That's the main thing we do on this channel. But every now and then I will encourage the audience or the people that follow me. I would teach and encourage on other things that you should be doing while you're building your real estate business. Okay. So as of late, I've been talking a lot about how the YouTube algorithm is actually, helping young or new creators or small creators make a lot of money because the algorithm favors them. It's changed now where you can have 1,000 subscribers or small channel. If you're putting out good content, the algorithm will push your content out there. Okay. I talked about that for a couple of weeks now. And I've been talking a little bit about cryptocurrency, the power of diversifying your portfolio while you're waiting to build your real estate business. Getting cryptocurrency is important to have because, it's recession proof. All right. So if anything crashes with the American dollar, all these other dollars nationwide, worldwide, I always use the Japanese yen or the euro and some other ones that are pretty well known. I talk about the power of them crashing one day. Listen, they can go up and down. Now, crypto goes up and down as well, but crypto holds its value as far as, in the market, as far as you being able to be recession proof. And that's why I advise getting some cryptos to hold on to. Okay. So I've been talking a lot about that. But today, I'm going to talk to you about not giving up on your dreams. And I'm going to use myself as an example. My wife and I, we've been together 15 years. Okay. And let me tell you, it has not been an easy road when it comes to success. All right. And I could go away because I'm almost 50 years old. I can go back to when I was a little boy and how I grew up and all that, et cetera, et cetera. But that would take too long. But I want to keep it very simple, as simple as I can within 10 minutes, because I've already been on here 4 minutes and I'm only going to be on here for like 10 minutes and I'm going to be done. But I want to pour this into you and hopefully you'll get it. All right. When I met my wife, I had just went through a divorce, a separation. I was going through a divorce. I was in Florida. My first wife, she had 3 kids when I married her, little kids. And I kind of raised those kids up, until they became teenagers. And when I left, I was with her for 12 years. And we had a horrible breakup. I won't get into what happened and I won't say anything bad about her, but it just didn't work out. So I had to pack everything I had. And I was so broke. I was broke as a joke and ready to choke, right? Like I had a business in the same city where we were living, but I had to leave that business behind, and I couldn't take anything with me. So I had to quickly get my clothing and what my belongings and get on a bus, and I had to go to New York City. And when I did that, it was the most lonely feeling in the whole entire world. And so I felt like, okay, here I am, mid 30s, because I'm close to 50 now. But I was in my mid 30s, failed marriage. I had started a few businesses that didn't work out for me. And I didn't have any biological children because my first wife already had kids when I met her. Okay. So, but I don't resent that because she told me in the beginning she couldn't have children. She had already had her kids and something happened where she couldn't have kids anymore. So I raised those kids. They call me dad and I love them as my own children. So that I wasn't bitter about that. But it was the fact that I was done with that marriage and I had to go to New York and start over from scratch again. You know what I mean? So I'm mid 30s. So I looked at myself as a total, complete failure. That's how I looked at myself. I didn't have this self image of myself a bit as being the successful person. I felt like I wasted like half my life, and so it was a very depressing, dark feeling. However, I knew that there was light on the other side at the end of the tunnel if I kept moving. But it was the darkest time for me. I felt like committing suicide. I ain't gonna sit there and tell you that I felt like I was strong. I wasn't. I was the opposite of strong. I was weak. My heart hurt. And when you go through a divorce, whenever you have, even if you don't, something happens bad with a person, you end up hating them or whatever. When you divorce, they're out of your life. It feels like a part of your heart gets ripped out. It feels literally. It feels like a part of you die. Like you feel like someone died in your life, and even though they're alive, they feel dead to you because they're gone. Not in a way like what you mean nothing to me. Not that way. It's like your soul dies. Part of your soul dies. And so I didn't think I can get over this divorce. I was saying it was a rough patch for me. I mean, even though I moved to New York City, I cried every night. In fact, some nights I couldn't sleep. In fact, it took me about 2 months before I can get a good night's sleep. So I had insomnia, really bad. Heart flutters, high blood pressure. Felt like I was going to, having panic attacks. I felt like I was going to die in my sleep. It was a dark place for me, man. And so nothing was working. I went to New York City to a place where I didn't know anyone. The first night there in the city, I went to a Burger King. The sun was going down. I didn't have anywhere to stay. I went to a Burger King, okay, and there was a guy there. He made me come inside. He was the manager of Burger King. He made me come inside, gave me something to eat because I didn't have any money. And he said, I want you to go upstairs because in Manhattan, they have 4 floors. These Burger Kings are tall. They're four different levels up. He said, go to the second floor. I don't normally let people stay here. That's what he told me. But I'm going to let you stay here tonight. Go upstairs, lock yourself in the bathroom, get some sleep. And when you get up in the morning, come downstairs, go across the street. Now, this is at 42nd Street. If you guys know anything about Manhattan, 42nd Street was where the Port Authority was, where the buses came in. Very rough area, too. He said, go across the street. I know, he said, this is what he told me. I know someone who works in the homeless shelter system. And they're going to give you a place to stay. They're going to take you to a certain place in Manhattan where you can go and get shelter and food and all that stuff. And you can be in the shelter system so you won't be homeless anymore. And that's what I did. And I was able to get up. So long story short, I didn't really spend one night on the street in Manhattan. The Most High made it where I had a place to stay that night, and I was able to go into the homeless shelter system. Every day I was there, no lie, every time I went out to look for work in the shelter, I would see young people, younger than me, on the street, homeless in New York. So I had to push back all that pain, the personal pain that I had. I had to realize that he had saved me. He had put me in a position to win. Hey there, how's it going, Anthony? God bless. There are resources and people to guide you. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going somewhere with this. Okay, so absolutely. Listen. I got a lot of help. So here I am. I'm conflicted because okay, now I'm in a shelter, but I get 3 meals a day. I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning so I can get up because they make you get up like 5 o'clock in the morning. They make you go out and look for work. So you get up at 5. You have breakfast. By 6, you have to go. You can come back at 12 or noon to have lunch for like an hour, and then you have to leave and come back again at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. If you come back too late, you don't have a place to stay. They don't let you in. So I had to follow those rules. So, but what I'm saying to you guys is, part of me I started having faith from that point on, because I looked at other people's situation. Even though I didn't have nothing, I was homeless, I still had a, I still had a shelter. And I saw people on the street they refused to go to the shelter, or their mental state wasn't good enough where they could handle a shelter. A lot of mental illness I was beginning to discover was happening to people who were like good people. Some of these people were, attorneys or doctors. They were very educated folks that had something happened bad in their life, and they lost everything. And so their mental state had left their sobriety and their, what's the word I'm looking for here? Their ability to stay stable, to be stable, to be sound mentally, pardon me, wasn't there anymore. So their mental ability was fading. So that's why they were on the street, and some of them, when they went to take a bath. And so I saw this even in the shelter. I saw people coming in and out of there, and I'm just like, man, this is not the way. So believe it or not, that's what encouraged me to keep pushing, even though I was in the city, no money, homeless. So what I did was I decided, they gave me a choice. They said, okay, now that you're in the shelter system, you can go to work. We'll give you a job, and you can live in a rooming house, with like a bunch of guys. We'll give you a place to stay. We'll give you train fare to go around the city to work for 30 days every month, and we'll give you a stipend. We'll pay you $1 per hour. So they gave me train fare. They gave me a place to stay, and they gave me $40 a week, because I work 40 hours a week. So they gave me $1, and that was the cash that I had. So which is, doing the math on that, 80, that's $160 a month that I would have this cash with a place to stay, with room and board, okay? And I would have the ability to get around the city. So I was like, thank you, Father, for a chance. And here's what I learned from that. They put me in the place where I was in a system where I was actually going downtown. I was going to see, I was in the welfare system where I could see people who were getting food stamps and getting government assistance and all that. I saw a hurting group of people, not just black people. I saw Jewish people. I saw all kinds of other folks that were hurting financially, and they were all going to the shelter, or they going here to get food. And so my point is, it made me stop focusing so much on myself. And I was trying to figure out, okay, it's not about me. I'm not the only one that's hurting here. And that was how I began to change my mindset and rise above my current situation. After a while, I found other work, and I started making a lot more money, and I met my wife, okay? When I met her, she was doing very well. She was making a lot more money than me. She was making probably close to six figures. She was a fashion designer. She worked for companies like Joan New York and Anne Klein A-Line. You guys know who Jones New York is, and Anne Klein. Those are top fashion companies, right? She went to FIT, for Christ's sake, right? So she was very successful, and she didn't look down on me one time. I told her, I said, listen, I came from a bad marriage, came from the state of Florida, came up here in New York City and didn't know anybody, and I'm getting off my feet. And I had just got my own apartment, right? So we started going to church together and all that. And when I first met her, hey there, Hudson, how you doing, sir? I knew that her name's Arlene. The Father in heaven spoke to me and said, that's going to be your wife. Now, that was 15 years ago. And she has been my wife ever since. But I knew there was something special about her. She had a dream. How you doing, sir? She had a dream to do something big, and so did I. And so, thank you, sir. So we started working together, and we started our first company in New York City. Okay? But now I'm in Atlanta, Georgia now, but that was 15 years ago. We started our own finance company, and I started learning real estate this was about 2010, 2010. We started our real estate company. We started learning how to do things with finances and teaching people how to get business loans, et cetera, et cetera. And we got scammed a lot because there's a lot of scammers in that industry. But my point is, we began to grow together. Okay? And now I realize, okay, I can't give up on my dream. Just because I had a bad marriage, I've got to keep going here. So that's what I did. So we grew. We started learning through trial and error. And then we got married. We got married in 2011, right? Came to Florida and started serving in ministry, right? Which was very difficult. We should have took our time and kept building our business, but we dropped everything. We went to the small church and started serving in that church. And the church tried to divide us. We almost divorced. You believe that? Newlyweds, we thinking we go to the church for people to protect us. No. So not only was I homeless, had to overcome that, go to New York, find my wife, come back to Florida. Now I'm having adversity with people who I think are spiritual trying to divorce my wife and I because they saw a connection. They saw that we were close. And believe it or not, You can have the best, the worst enemies in the places you never even think you'd have enemies in. So, you never think you're gonna go to church and have an enemy. You don't think about that. You think that you're gonna go and get somebody gonna pray for you and all that. No way. It was the toughest time for us. So we had to overcome enemies in church, right? We had some family members that didn't agree with our relationship, our marriage, right? All this drama, man. And so, long story short, we had to overcome all that. And we moved to New York. We moved from New York to Florida. I told you guys that. In Florida, we had to leave Florida. So in 2018, we came to Georgia. Again, haven't had a successful business yet up until this point. 2019 rolls around. We came here in 2018. We lived with a friend here, in fact, we drove up here. We lived out of our car for a little while before we got the place with this individual. We had a room with her. This is in Atlanta, Georgia. We started our first business while we was in that one little room, this one room in her house, her apartment. And my first business that I had, I made $20,000 in 2019 with my wife. Guys, in 2020, the following year, this is why I tell you, you can't give up on your dreams. We expanded. We started helping other companies get business funding. We started helping people get the business loans, the PPP loans and the EIDL loans and all that. And my business took off in 2020. In the midst of a pandemic, we ended up grossing about $500,000 that year. Think about that. All this time, I was struggling, right? And just like that, poof, $500,000 in 2020. What am I saying? Because I'm closing now. You can have all these obstacles in your way over and over again. You can have all these problems, right? But you can't give up because all it takes is one. The Most High has to breathe on what you're doing one time. That one idea, that thing that you didn't give up on, that could be the thing that takes off. That's why you can't quit. So all that struggling I did with the first wife, being homeless in New York, my wife and I, we kept struggling. Almost divorced because people are in our marriage. We go to Atlanta, we start a business, and just like that, we made that kind of money, all right? And we got business funding because I started understanding how to get business funding for my business. And we got over $100,000 in business funding, and we helped so many people get business loans and all that stuff. And it just took off. And the next year, we made like $300,000 the next year. And then the year after that, like $200,000, because we had a decline because it was post-pandemic. But in the last 5 years, we made about $1 million in income, okay, from 2020 till now. And there's no way that could have happened had we given up. So I'm telling you, you have to dig deep sometimes and look at the impossible, what can be done if you just believe, all right? And that's what we did. We refused to quit. I found my partner in life. My first wife she was cool, but I don't think she was the one for me. This one I'm with today, we're like this. And it makes all the difference in the world. So I would tell all you guys that if you're single, stay single until the right woman comes along. Don't jump up there and get married to the wrong person. Okay? When you have the right person in your life, it's much easier to prosper. And that's what happened here. Don't give up on your dreams, all right? If you come in late, you came to this meeting late, go back and watch the whole thing. And listen to what I told you, okay? Do not give up on your dreams. All right? All right, guys, take care. I got to go. Peace and blessings. Bye.